Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another week of Second Breakfast Podcast. I'm Andy Ruff alongside Phil Duvall, and Phil is very excited. How are you, Phil?
Hi, Andy. It's the day after Easter, man.
Does that
It,
have a name?
Easter Monday.
Oh,
It
all
is.
right.
It's Easter Monday, which I
Okay.
think is the code word for every priest in America takes the day off.
Nice. Nice.
Because I know this guy is. So, anyways, Easter Monday. I don't know. I mean, I that's fine. And it begins. Yesterday began the 50 days of Easter. A lot of people don't know that because a lot of people don't care about church. But 50 days of Easter.
I I did not know that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd
Maybe
actually
it's
heard the term Easter Monday before, but I didn't know 50 days of That's a lot of Easter.
Maybe it's the 40 days of Easter. I should probably know that.
Eh. You know what? You know what, Phil? I'm not going to fact check you. You know?
I know. Oh no, it is 50 days. I feel
Okay.
better.
Thank goodness. You can
Yep.
keep your job. So, here every Monday on Second Breakfast, we tell you about what we saw the preceding week. And if there is anything, and let's be honest, for several weeks there hasn't been, if there's anything coming out the following Friday that we're excited about, we let you know what we will probably be seeing in the theaters.
Yes.
Um, it's been a fallow period at
I'm
the
si-
multiplex.
I am real. You know, we did a whole like the first trimester of film,
Yeah.
and wasn't it trimester? Didn't we do the first
We
trimester?
did, which was weird. We should have done quarter, but that's
And I
fine.
think this year
Trimester.
we should just switch it over. I mean, this like, we could just next week do like a quarterly and be like, this is
Yes,
what we're gonna watch this
indeed.
quarter. But anyways, Tuesday maybe. So maybe that's what'll be on store for you tomorrow, people. So, anyways,
Indeed.
but I'm sad for when things start to pick up because then you'll really see how little I get to go to the movies. It's gonna be really depressing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, shall we start the timer?
Yeah, start the timer. Oh wait, I want to say one thing before we start the timer.
Please do.
Um, According to this thing here, I watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 movies in March, which is a
Okay.
little under one every other day.
Nicely
Now, those
done.
movies in the theater and at home, of course.
Sure.
And considering March was an incredibly busy time for me, I'm also, I don't think I put like the 30th time I watched Monsters Inc. on there with my daughter.
Right.
So, yeah.
You're doing
I
yeoman's
could
work.
I could easily add Monsters Inc. to this, and we would just be right at 15.
Sure.
So, but
Please
anyway,
do. Go ahead. Not that we're doing the
so
month. We're just doing the week.
I'm averaging about a movie every other day.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I like where your
So,
head's at. Here we go.
all right.
Ready? And you're starting. And go. What'd you see this last week, Phil?
So since the last time, well, last week I watched Ten Commandments, and I watched Ten Commandments over 2 days because it's a really long movie, and I watched it
Indeed.
in the middle of the night. But we talked about that. So since we spoke last week, I watched Wreck-It Ralph for only the second time,
Nice.
and it was so good. And my daughter was transfixed by most of it, and I'm getting ready to watch it again with my wife because she's never seen it, and it's like, if you want to know the key to watching a movie more than once, if you're out there and wondering, like, how do these guys watch movies more than once? For me, anyway, quite often watching a movie more than once means watching it with someone else. For
Yes.
instance, I would love to watch The Sopranos again, the entire series, but it's really hard to do that by myself because I have to take the time by myself to watch that much. That's not going to happen. But when you watch it with someone else, you're sharing an experience. So I shared it with my daughter. I'm going to share it with my wife as an excuse to watch it again. I love Wreck-It Ralph, guys. Wreck-It Ralph is in upon second viewing, maybe my second or my like in my top 5 from last year,
Sure.
and easily my favorite animated movie last year. I also want to mention that in the middle of the late one evening, when I was wired from work and trying to get my head together, I watched The Great Outdoors again, which is the John Candy, Dan Aykroyd piece of mediocrity from 1988. I'd like to tell you that because I grew up on it, it's a great movie. It is in no way a great movie. It is, in fact, I remembered it as not being that great, it is less good than I remembered it.
Oh.
But it's also short, and I had so many fond memories of it. And it's got the girl who was also in The Boy Who Could Fly. She was only in like 3 or 4 movies, and she is everything I remember from when I was young.
Nice.
And it's got some really it's funny. It's got a lot of memorable scenes, The Great Outdoors, including a scene where John Candy eats a 59-ounce steak, or more than that. I think it's 59 ounce.
Oh wait, it's like the old 76er or whatever it is.
Yeah, and he eats the whole thing, and he's like and he eats the whole thing, and then like he's like, look, he did it, and the chef's like, he's not done, and Roman is the name of Dan Aykroyd's character, and Roman goes, what are you talking about? All that's left on that plate is gristle and fat, and the chef responds by just going. And then the point is made that clearly he eats it. And I remember that, and I always thought that scene was awesome. And then I also always thought, and John Candy died of a heart attack. So,
yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like, ha ha ha.
Oh.
Do you know who wrote The Great Outdoors?
I do not.
John Hughes.
Fascinating.
Not directed by, but written by, and I think it was directed by Howard Deutsch. But it was written by John Hughes, and it's like a John Hughes trifle. But you can see him sort of just playing off. You can see him sort of playing off of just how much everybody loves John Candy. And then, of course, I watched the Project Melway movie for this week, which we'll talk about on Wednesday. Go ahead.
Indeed. Is that it?
That was last week in movies.
Anything you're looking forward to this week?
Oh my God, The Evil Dead is coming out.
So excited.
I am excited / terrified and trying to figure out who will go to see this with me because I can't go alone. And I know who I'm taking. Okay, I've got someone I'm going to go see the movie with.
I am excited / terrified too. And just to be clear, I'll take over now. We got about a minute and a half left. I'll take over now. That is the only thing I'm excited for. I will probably drag my carcass to see G.I. Joe Retaliation, but I will hate myself.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I will do it just for that mountainside fight.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
And Adrian Palicki.
Well, naturally. So, I likewise, this past week, watched not only the Ten Commandments, as you know, but Wreck-It Ralph.
Wow!
Yes, you know what? That's a good movie. Also, I watched the 3 of our movies are the same, because I also watched the Project Melway, The Man Without a Face, which we will talk about on Wednesday. I watched Road to Perdition, which, not my first time seeing it. Such a solid movie. It's lovely to see Tom Hanks and Paul Newman playing bad guys.
Solid is a good word, but not the worst guy, because Jude Law.
Oh, yes. True.
In one of my favorite performances by Jude Law.
Me too. And I also finished so last 2 weeks ago, I watched the first 3 movies of the Fast and the Furious series. I finished that off. I watched Fast and Furious, the 4th one, and Fast 5, which is the best. Yep. It's the best of the series. We have less than 10 seconds. That was 5 Minute Monday. That's the week that was. For Second Breakfast, I'm Andy Roth. That's Phil Duvall. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Evil Dead. Evil Dead. Evil Dead.
Evil Dead. Bye.